Hi guys, and welcome to another segment of the show where I bring you the world's most exciting experts and innovative pioneers. We've had amazing people on this show, I have to tell you, and it's a real pleasure. They bring unbelievable value, stuff that's really going to elevate your life in all different diverse industries. It's a real pleasure to give them gifts out for you who want to be successful, really progress in your life and really get there so much quicker. Just quickly, I've got to say as well, I've got a new series coming out on Sky History on the 10th of September, Tuesday just coming, 9 o'clock. It's a new hit Mafia series with me and Ross Kemp. Great pleasure and joy that I introduce the wonderful Susanna Beatrice, who's come all the way from Stockholm, Sweden. How are you doing, Susanna? It's wonderful to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm happy to be here.
It's my pleasure. Yeah, we go back, Susanna, but I tell you what, you're a real shining star. You know, you really are in what you do. You've spoke on massive stages, thousands of people. You've trained thousands of people in what you do. But for people out there who don't know your real shining star, tell us a bit about what you do.
But the core of my work is really to help people to find their power and potential and to understand their true power from within and to live true to their greatness. And I do it through a somatic therapy method called de-armoring. I do it through breath work. I do it through transformating processes. I do it through mentorship.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot more under the hood here, I have to say, because you've got a book coming out, which is called Money, Sex, Power. So we're going to get straight to it. The Ultimate Self-Mastery Method. But look, we had a chat earlier, didn't we? Money, sex and power, they drive this world. I don't care where you are, who you are, where you're at, but really on a foundational level, they drive the world. They drive us as human beings for good and for bad and all that stuff. It's very loaded, this stuff. So tell us a little bit about that and how that translates into the work that you do with so many really key, wonderful people around the world.
Really, the book is created out of my own journey through understanding my power, to understanding my relationships, my sexuality, my relationship to money. And because there are so edgy topics, I like to highlight the distortion of it. Obviously, it's the distortion around these topics that are driving the world. But of course, there is another side to it. There's always another side to it. So what I highlight in the book is the other side of these topics and how we, through self-mastery, can understand our true power, how we can understand the depth of sexuality and intimacy, and how if we understand that money is an energy and that we have a power to choose what to do with money and that we can use money for goodness, instead of greed, for example. So how can we apply that and live a more authentic and meaningful life in integrity, I would say. Because these topics are so much in the shadow. Yeah, they create so much distortion.
Look, 100%, Susanna, and just when you was talking there, my head was remembered how you get some guys, they say, money is evil or something like that. It's so much rubbish, this programming. And I say it's the programming. One man who gets 10 million, put it into something destructive. Another man who gets 10 million, he go and save a lot of people or heal a lot of people. So that's a rubbish, right? And it's these kind of things, right?
No, of course it's the thing. It's like, I used to believe also that money was the root cause of our evil. But of course it's not. Money is not evil. Money is just frequency. It's what we do with money. Yeah. It's like with everything else in life, when we understand that everything is a programming. Even words, the words we choose, is the energy behind the words that creates the reality or creates the frequency. Money is a wonderful tool, yeah?
It's a wonderful tool. I mean, I don't even call it money these days. I haven't for a long time, Susanna. I call it resource, because that's what it is. It's a resource like food, the car, the roof over your head. It's resource. We need it. We need to use it as a tool. I don't really call it money anymore because I just realize it's a resource, right?
And also when we look at society, like we don't really learn how to make money. We are trained to have a 9-to-5 job or have have a poverty mindset or greed or whatever. But few people, of course, some know how to work with money, but few actually knows how to work with money and to use it as the frequency, as you say.
Yeah, and I have to say, guys, look, there's a lot of people that, and I'll never point no fingers here, I don't judge no one, but it sounds a bit airy-fairy where they talk about all this stuff. Of course, there's really big science behind it, but what I'm saying about Susanna is she's a real thing about this. You've studied so many modalities for so many years, from so many masters, to get a real full picture, to cross-reference, the physics. We're talking about Joe Dispenza. Want him in this chair, Joe? You're going to be coming. You're going to be next. I'm telling you, I'm coming. No, he knows he will sit in this chair for sure. All right. Big fan of Joe Dispenza. Such an intelligent person. You see, there are people out there who are cracking these codes, and when you have like the proper knowledge from source, this is really changing people's lives and changing so much of the poverty, of the darkness, of the suffering which people are going through. That's why this is important, guys. Tell us a little bit more about that.
And when you say that, I tap into the root cause of the suffering in one, and the root cause is really what I want to touch upon and understand. Because when we understand the root cause of our suffering, which really is our ego structure and our conditioning, then we can start to change. Change, of course, takes time, but with time and practice, it becomes a mastery, and then life is really more a creative process. Yeah, so this is really the core, the depth of my work.
Yeah, it's such an important area, and I only have the top experts on this show that really have the diligence and the expertise and the whistles and bells behind them, right? Of amazing work at the top of their game. Yeah, but because I'm only interested in that, now I know you're coming to London soon as well. You're bringing your brand there, which is really important. There's a lot of people over there. I know that you love London. I know you've travelled to many countries with what you do. Tell us a little bit about some of that.
Well, I started to travel when I was 17. I felt I was curious. I was curious for more. I wanted something more than what I was taught here in society. So I went to Thailand, and then I got such a zest for life. So I started my first little company when I was 17, and I kept traveling the world to different countries to sell my goods, and then I kept traveling the world. So I've been to, I think, 56 countries by now, and I've been to some multiple times. And for me, traveling is really how I learned a lot about different cultures as well, and to live in the world, how to really live in the world and create my own reality out from that. I think that's how I really started to develop a different kind of solution mindset and curiosity mindset, because I came to new cities, new places, and I picked up new languages, and I learned through import and export that if I bought something there and sold it there, then people will get happy, yeah? And then I studied along the way.
56 countries. I mean, for me, I travel as well. I haven't been to as many countries as you have, I have to say, but there's nothing better for widening the bandwidth, to see other people's cultures, how they live, and the learning of that, the diversity of it all, and I always say that every country has something to give, whether it's food, music, sport, whatever. There's so much out there, right, to give. So that's just to put another little bit on that, and I know yours was a real learning journey, of all the different modalities through this, like a fine chef, but in self-development. Susanna. No, seriously, I know, when I look at your resume, I'm like, wow, and I know you've done all this stuff. There's just so much learning in there, going like all the way back, right, it's impressive. So, I know your mission is very true and stuff like that. And what's important to you today then, really? What's important to you?
Well, what's really important for me is really to bring my work out and to transform many people's lives and contribute to more goodness in the world. That's really what I've dedicated my life to. That's what I'm passionate about. That's what brings me out of bed in the morning. That's what I'm obsessed about. That's really what matters the most, to be honest.
No, I get it. And for people, you're at the same, level as I am in my work, where we've been at it for so long. We've been privileged to work so hard at it, and get forward. And look, what I always say about the money thing is, look, you work, you get money. You work harder, you get more money. You get really good at what you do, you get a little bit more money. But it's not all about the money. It becomes a lot more than that. It becomes about the mission, which is above and beyond you with the kind of stuff that we do. So I feel your passion with that, because I know the money doesn't make your heart sparkle. It pays the bills, and it's an energy, thank you for that to money, but it doesn't make you happy, right? Lighten your soul. It's important to say this stuff, right? Because, the mission does that, doesn't it? It does. It's like it feeds my soul.
The mission always been the most important. I didn't really even care about the money before. Now I'm in a position that I want a different lifestyle, and I also want to contribute more. And I know the more I live in abundance, the more I can also contribute to the greater whole. But it can never, for purpose-driven people, money can never lead. It will never be enough. It's not enough of a hook.
Yeah, no, when you're lucky enough to have a bit of money, you realise that's never going to make you happy anyway. It's an important resource, but there are other things in life that are certainly important to feed your soul, and that's about making the world better. There's also a bit of controversy just to be said, and I'm just going to put it right in there, right, to really pin it down in this interview. I know you've got quite a turbulent past as well, which I'm not surprised about, because it's like me, because this actually forges the proper people. It's not the easy sailing, it's the difficult seas that forges a human being. And you've had that. I mean, long ago you've been through the darkness, you was around people and, organised crime, all of this stuff. You've really done, you've had to sail some crazy rivers to survive. Same as myself, right? And there's another controversial part of what you're bringing to London, because, you're one of them kind of beings who just has a knowing. I was like that, even when I was fighting the system, when I was in prison, is that there's a lot of lies out there structured in society, and all the rest of it, that are just not right for people, or honouring people and all that, right? And it is about seeing through the lies as well. So you're very, not a conspiracy theorist, but a real down the line, looking behind the curtain, solutions person to that as well, as part of what you do. Tell us a little bit about that, so people get a little understanding.
Okay, yeah. That's the baseline, I would say, of my work, and what's been also motivating me, whether I knew it or not. I mean, I left school because I just felt that I didn't fit in society. I just felt that I was spoon-fed lies. I didn't believe that what I was served. I wanted something else, and I didn't know what. So I've been living kind of outside society most of my life. I've been living a very controversial life based on my own values and truth, and freedom is a value for me, really. And I still feel that the society in many ways is insane. It doesn't teach us to be humans. It teaches us to be robots. It doesn't care for our health. It doesn't care about our well-being, our purpose. The educational system is insane. What does children really learn? What do we really learn in school, right? Imagine if we would grow up and we would learn talking about our emotions, what we want, about healthy sexuality, about what we're good at, not put everybody into one form, one norm. It's sick. It's a very sick society in my perception.
No, you're right. I've known that it's not so much. Just quickly, I'm a seeker of truth. I've always have been, and always will continue to be. But you come to the point you realise that's not really where it's at. It's unwinding the lies is where, because we're never going to get the whole truth. No, but it's undoing most of the lies is the quickest way to it, to be empowered, because there's so much of it that's not right, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But that's also where it comes. I mean,
The Matrix.
the Matrix.
The
Exactly.
Matrix.
And once
it's
you
a
see
good
through
name.
it,
You know, we call it
it's
the
a really good.
Matrix, right?
And once you wake up, I mean, there is no going back. But the whole point is also, I mean, the society is there, it is what it is, and it's not about withdrawing oneself, it's about understanding and take responsibility for one's life as well, and to understand, okay, what can I do to care for my health? What can I do to encourage myself to be a better person, or to live better in this world, or take better care of my children, or how can I... It's about a lot about self-responsibility as well, yeah. And then to understand that we can dance like I'm free even in an unfree society.
Yeah.
And not to just be awake and conscious.
Look, I get it. I really do. Another subject I'm going to go to, which a lot of people say is taboo. It's just rubbish because it's actually empowering. Is like the sexual stuff, sexual tantric. I mean, this is a liberating, freeing thing. That is a real energy. It's like I heard you say earlier when we were doing some filming. You said, Steve, this has created you, and it's great. No one can argue with that, right? So I thought, yeah, do you know what? Of course, that energy. Everything is energy. So tell us a little bit, about this. Why people are so fucked up in this area.
I think why people are so fucked up in this area is because it's such a taboo and repressed topic. And in a world of duality, if we repress it in one way, it's going to show up in another way. So it's no wonders that priests are supposed to be monks and not engage sexually. They abuse little boys. I mean, because their distortion, if we don't own up to our shadows, it will spill out, yeah? And in society, it's such a lid onto sexuality. There's so much guilt and shame around it that people there are limiting beliefs that it is something wrong with sexuality. Yet people make so much money out of it. Porn is one of the biggest industries. And what do we learn then about sexuality? That porn is sexuality? That's insane. It's really insane. What is it? And in today's world where with internet, like young people are watching porn to learn about sexuality and intimacy. That's crazy. For example, me, when I had my like conscious sexual awakening, and this is why I've been working in the field for 14 years now. So for me, who've been through sexual abuse, a lot of self-hatred, a lot of distortion around my body, when I started to explore the armoring and conscious sexuality, it really changed my life because I understood more. I learned to love myself more. I started to have more healthy relationships. I could discover sexuality both on a fundamental personal level where I just like, okay, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. And that can sound so silly, but believe me, after thousands of people I work with, it's so hard for most people to even say it exactly.
Yeah, say it how it is.
Yeah, and then we have the next level, which is just the way, like the potential around what I call transformative sexuality. When we stop the procreational sexuality, which most people have, when we understand how the hormones in the body are being activated through breath and sound, and when we prolong intimacy, for example, it's a whole, and then we can experience spiritual awakenings through that. We can experience a lot of depth and healing through that because it's not this giving to get and transactional sex all the time, which leaves people often feeling empty, meaningless, and like wondering, isn't it more to sex than this? Because it's not fulfilling. It's empty, but then we don't talk about it because there is so much performance and anxiety around sexuality. So we kind of pretend, and then it becomes an issue, a problem. Yeah? Yet everybody has it and everybody wants it, or most people.
Yeah, it's an area that I find amazing with some people because you have all these religions that package it into some crazy bullshit, right? But this has a really bad effect on people in so many ways. I mean, it's obvious to see, Susanna, right? When really that's not the deal there, right? No, the programming is wrong, the message is wrong. It causes a lot of bad stuff, That's why, look, I'm really up for anything that's going to help people and make things better. And what I see in that area, that is not necessarily making people better. No. It's just not, right? So, I mean, let's be honest about it, right? So that's why I find that really interesting as well, what you do. And I know you've helped I mean, how many workshops have you done, for instance? How many? You've been in 56 countries.
Yeah, I don't even know.
You don't even know. You pass count, and I mean,
my first workshop,
yeah.
19 years ago.
And I mean, you've trained so many practitioners in this who've gone out to help other people, which I think is, really amazing, because that's the thing, to get one to help one, to teach one, to let them go out so they can do the same, and it's the best model.
Yeah.
So look, you're coming to London soon, right? That's going to be really good. Yeah. All right, that's going to be really good. Look out for that, guys. There'll be more about that coming soon, right? And that's going to be an amazing event. There's going to be a lot of good stuff going on there. I'm definitely going to be there, making an appearance at that one, to see what's going on. I'm sure there'll be some other interesting people there as well, and that as well. So definitely worth looking out for. So what's next for you now? Now I know you flew in, to the studio from Sweden, doing some work together, and you go back, before you go to more countries.
Yeah.
Like the travel thing, right? But what's next? Like, you got the book and everything else. So what's next for you now, Susanna?
Well, I'm going to host one of my trainings, my signature training, where I train therapists in this art form, diamoring, and it's going to happen in end of October. And then I'm doing another round of breathwork facilitation training, and finalizing my book, of course. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that one. I am really, because I'm really going to see what you're going to put in there, right? Send through things like a beacon, like a flashing light, money, sex, power. Well, tell me more, right? Seriously, right? Loaded, right? But like what's behind it. But I know there's going to be a lot in there. I'm just going to be really interested in your take on it, knowing your history and your expertise. Well, look, I hope you've had a really good time here in the UK, and we've looked after you. It's been great having you here.
Wonderful to be here.
And thank you for coming on the platform, Susanna. There's going to be a lot more stuff with us going forward soon.
Appreciate it.
So thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Guys, I hope you really, really enjoyed that with the wonderful, beautiful Susanna Beatrice. She really is a star. Check this lady out, guys. I'm telling you, she's got a lot of things there that's going to help you with a lot of stuff, both male and female. Of course, she's got the book coming out soon, Money, Sex and Power. I'm really looking forward to seeing that one. She's coming to the UK soon. She's goes around the world. She does a lot of stuff on stages, workshops and all that. But check her out, Google her, and see what she's got to offer. And as always, take care, guys. Thanks for supporting us with everything that you do. Of course, there's a lot of good stuff coming out in the media all the way through. My own book, which is going to be a Netflix documentary as well, Extraordinary, is out there as well. If that's something you're interested in, take care now. Look after yourself, and God bless.